Where there is no right and proper priestly function among the body of Messiah, there is no boundary as to how bad things can get and how much error can be found. Hi, this is Barry Phelps, a 10-minute Torah day, number 3, the Torah portion Shoftim, meaning appoint judges, and we are continuing in the discussion of various types of leadership. In chapter number 18 of Deuteronomy, Devarim, we began to look at the focus of priestly function and of prophet function. In verse number 1, it says that the priests, the Levites, all of the tribe of Levi, have no part nor inheritance with Israel. They are to eat the offerings of Yahweh made by fire and his inheritance. But among the brothers, or his brothers, Levi has no inheritance. Yahweh is his inheritance, as he has spoken to him. As we continue to read over in verse number 13, it says, "But be perfect before Yahweh your Elohim." Now, how are we going to arrive at such status? It is the function of the priesthood to bring us to that state, or at least assist us in getting there. While the priests did indeed serve by a revolving schedule, not all priests showed up every day to do the work. There is, as King David, put in order a rotating schedule to where each Levite and each Kohanim would be able to serve on a rotating basis of 2 terms a year. At that time, they would leave their homes that were in the cities of refuge, priestly towns that were scattered throughout Israel. They would leave, they would come, and they would serve for the short allotted time, and then they would go back home. While they were serving the altar, the meat that they were placing upon the altar in various offerings, they were to receive portions back. They were also able to take the hides and the skins. The Levites did not approach the altar, the priests did, the Kohanim, but the Levites would assist in the skins. And so they would take from this hides and be able to tan them, craft with them, sell them, and they received then benefit from the altar and from the priestly function. This is Yah's design. There is a pattern. When Adam and Chava worked the garden, from the garden they were able to eat. When Noah took care of the animal kingdom on the ark, from the animal kingdom, that which was determined to be clean among them, from those animals he was now allowed to partake of meat. Even an ox, when it treads the grain, you're not to muzzle it, but if it eats of the grain that it's treading, that is permissible. When we work our fields, from those fields we should expect to be able to eat. When we glean from our vineyards, we should be able to anticipate drinking from those vineyards. When one, Rav Shaul uses these examples, when one works in the labor of the word, from that labor in the word, he should expect to be able to receive a living. When you work your job, it is from your job that you expect to return a price or a wage so that you can begin to live. This is Yah's principle. This is Yah's design. No one should be expected to work for free. Even one's time has a sense of value on it. So when we are given our time and our effort, it's worthy of a recompense. There then is an understanding of the economy of Yah. This is how things are to work. Now, he also begins to warn us, saying that there should be none among us who would make his son or daughter pass through the fire. This is verse number 10. Or one who practices divinations, or a user of magic, or one who interprets omens, or a sorcerer, or one who conjures spells, or a medium, or a spiritist, or one who calls up the dead. These are abominations. Now, when we look at these, there's a certain understanding about what we're talking about. From Rashi's commentary, one who passes his son or daughter through the fire, this is the worship of Molech. This has ties to the common mindset, even the modern day abortion industry, where we are basically placing our children in death in order to have the convenience and the save of monetary expenditures, just getting rid of the tissue. Those who practice divination or a soothsayer. This is the one who would use an object of some sort in order to discern the future, consulting, is it something that I need to do or something that I shouldn't do? Maybe even rolling the dice, so to speak. A user of magic or a diviner of auspicious times. Rabbi Akiva says these are those who determine the signs of times. Well, now is the best time or the time for certain activities. Other sages say that this is those who catch the eyes. Those are using alluring eyes or stare into my eyes or the evil eye in order to influence other people. Those who interpret omens, reading the tea leaves, bread falling out of your mouth, or a deer crossing your path, or walking under a ladder, or black cats crossing your path, knocking on wood, Friday the 13th, and all of these kinds of superstitions and omens that people are afraid of. A sorcerer or a charmer, one who uses or collects snakes, scorpions, and other creatures into one place to use them as talismans, crystals, all kinds of magic objects. Those who conjure spells, like modern-day witches and Wiccans of various sorts. A medium or a sorcerer, calling up the dead, speaking from a part of your body, or anticipating hearing the voice of the dead from yourself. A spiritist. Rashi said this is one who inserts the bone of an animal into his mouth, and then the bone speaks by the use of sorcery. Necromancy. Conversing with the dead. The dead have nothing to say to us. They know nothing. Why consult the dead on behalf of the living? And so then we come down to where we're told, instead of all of this garbage, be perfect. Yah's not appointed any of this to us. Leave the dark arts alone. They're only confusion, and their mysteries are not something to be delved into. They have no value for us. However, Moshe says at the latter end of this chapter, in verse 18, I will raise up for them a prophet like you out of the midst of their brothers, and put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak to them all that I command him. And he says, and it shall be the man who does not listen to my words which he speaks in my name, I will require it of him. We believe this to be Yeshua, a prophet, or the promised prophet that would come to us like Moshe, with the authority of the Torah, ruling even as a king in the midst of his people, declaring the word of Yah. Now, there is a part here that says that Yah is going to require Yeshua's words from us. We need to pay attention. So when we read his words, there is no opportunity for us to say, well, that was then and this is now, or I don't know that I can really walk that out. And we begin to justify ourselves as if even the words of Yeshua are too hard for us. They are not. Also, he says then, those who prophesy in the name of Yahweh and what they prophesy does not come to pass, we're not to listen to them. They're not a prophet. There are some that say, well, we're in the age of grace now, and we learn to prophesy. We practice prophecy until we get it correct. Really, that's not what the word says. Yah says that if it does not come to pass, and they have spoken presumptuously, we are not to fear them, honor them, we're not to respect them. So someone says, well, I have a word for you, and it does not come to pass. Someone prophesies, it does not come to pass. Yah didn't send them. Very plain, very simply, and we're not to pay attention to them. Be careful who you're listening to. Be careful what you get involved with. But honor those who do indeed bring you the word of Yah. And we'll see you again tomorrow. Until then, shalom.